ヒーローごっこをやめて真実を求め、俺と悪魔になるか。
ヒーローか悪魔がだって。
Fire Force, your time has come, my child. Step with me into the light so that I may guide you to the afterlife. I'm sending you to hell, where trash like you belongs. Another big-name anime of 2019 that was a massive letdown, at least for this cynical boy. This is going to be a mild ride, so feel free to unbuckle and relax while we go over such exciting things like not living up to your pedigree, making boring and unlikable characters, and just not making any sense in general. My name is Anime M Cynic, and I'll be your host in yet another polarizing video about anime that suck pee-pee. Thanks in advance for watching, and I hope you like the video. Let's start with the DNA of this anime. As I'm sure anyone who'd click on a Fire Force video knows, this anime is directly related to Soul Eater. Not by story, of course, but rather by creative lineage. Now, let me be honest with you for a second, I'm not a huge Soul Eater fan, nor am I a hater of the series. Yeah, I've seen it, but for me at least, I wasn't swayed too far in either direction. However, even someone as middle of the road as me can tell from a mile away that Soul Eater is an interesting story that stands out as being unique and multifaceted. Even though I wasn't a super fan of Soul Eater, I was still expecting great things from Fire Force when I learned of its backstory. If nothing else, I figured I could count on a fun and unique ride through genres and emotions like its predecessor. Instead, what we have here is a cookie-cutter shonen that shits all over everything the Soul Eater legacy had to offer. Again, these anime are not directly connected in any way that I'm currently aware of, but their creators are the same. To me, this inspires the same emotions as the Battle Royale craze of 2018, seeing promising titles and possibilities shot down just to churn out some low-quality game that'd make quick profit. Fire Force just isn't original. All memes aside, no joking, there's nothing redeeming about this anime. That's something I do not say lightly, as even Black Clover, my most hated anime, still has some traits I recognize as redeeming. Story, characters, powers, world, it all feels like stuff we've seen done hundreds of times, except in Fire Force it's just much, much worse. And I think the thing that pushed me over the edge and convinced me to make a video on this anime was the insane level of promotion it's been getting. I can't log into Twitter without seeing some cancer promotion about Fire Force from a corporate account. By the way, you should follow me on Twitter, link in the description, thank you, goodbye. So maybe dealing with all that has made me more bitter towards this anime, but I don't think so. I think this anime is just an unoriginal shit heap that companies invested too heavily in, and now they realize they made a mistake so they're trying to force it on anyone they can. Being unoriginal doesn't mean that you can't be good either. Take isekai anime for example. You could easily make the argument that the majority of these anime are not original, but at least in my opinion, a lot are worth watching just for some fun. Even now, during arguably the most oversaturated period in anime history, most of these are fun to watch if nothing else. You need to have some other aspect that isn't awful though. For example, you can't be unoriginal and have boring powers. That's some foreshadowing for you. Fire Force isn't even original in how unoriginal it is. I would like this anime more if it just shot for shot ripped off other shounen, but instead, they combined every shounen ever made. Let's do a shounen checklist to see how many boxes Fire Force has ticked. Main character has a tragic family backstory. Check. Shinra's mommy got all burned up along with his brother. Has unique powers unlike other people. Check. At least according to the people in the show, he's special for some reason. A weird personality quirk that no human has ever had. Check. He smiles like a criminal when he's nervous. Many unearned love interests. Checked. This one basically speaks for itself. As much as I'd love to just end this video with a 22-minute long shonen checklist, I think I've made my point. Maybe I'll do another video just outlining the complete checklist later on. That probably wasn't even as much of a meme as you thought either. Obviously, I wasn't involved in the creation of this anime, but I would not be surprised in the slightest if a checklist like I just jokingly went through was involved in the writing of this series. Chances are fair that they just looked over all the popular shounen series of the last 4 to 6 years and jotted down every overlap. That's probably just a printout they send to all manga writers, kind of like how YouTube emails you what they think you should make videos on. Sadly enough for us, Fire Force decided to just use this list instead of an actual human brain when writing the show. I don't usually do this, but I genuinely challenge anyone who watches this to put something they think is original about Fire Force in the comments section. And I don't want anyone to make fun of these people, nor will I. I promise you, if any comments are left on the video, or any of my videos for that matter, I will respond to them. Sorry about that weird tangent just now. Let's get back to Fire Force's actual content. So the general gist of the show is that some time ago, humans started to spontaneously combust, transforming them into Infernals. There's a special Fire Force who combats these conksuckers, which is where our main character enlists. He's a 3rd generation pyrokinetic, and supposed to be our cool, strong hero. In fact, I think he's actually a 4th generation in that he has an Adola burst. What that isn't important. I'm too lazy to go into it, not today. Point being that he's supposed to be a superior generation, but let me tell you something. His generation is awful. They're weak, stupid, and to be honest, more of a detriment than anything else. Shinra, who's our main character, gets bodied in basically every single encounter he has. At best, he's serving as a mode of transport for civilians. In typical boring shonen fashion, though, he has some bullshit godlike power within him that makes him special despite him being a troglodyte. It reminds me a little of Bleach, where every arc Ichigo got something new. He was half Soul Reaper, then he was part Hollow, then Fullbring, then Quincy, and probably other things that didn't get animated. That I can forgive, because in Bleach's heyday, shonen wasn't a used-up husk of a genre like it is now. Like a touchy businessman, we forgive them because it was decades ago and times were different back then. It's 2019 though, and Fire Force has no excuse to be making mistakes that have been on the avoid at all costs list for writers since 2009. If you can't tell, I'm not a fan of this anime. Not for lack of trying on my part though. I watched episodes as they came out week by week and hoped. Episode 1 was promising enough to give this show a few week buffer for old anime cynic here, but that period is long over. Similar to Dr. Stone, the episodes to come just didn't live up to the first portion of the show. That alone wouldn't be enough to rouse my anger though. Most anime is trash, but I don't make videos about all of them. You have to do something especially bad for me to care enough to make a video. I know it may not look like it on the viewer end, but these videos aren't that fast to make. They take a hot second. So choosing subject matter is not something I take lightly. And I think I could have let this one go if it wasn't for the constant spamming of ads and promotions for Fire Force that I see daily. It disgusts me to see companies put hundreds of times more money and effort into promoting a product than they did creating it. And that is Fire Force's greatest sin. This anime is the best example I've seen thus far of corporate greed dictating creative process in an anime. Characters in the show feel like an action figure was created and someone was given 26 minutes to write a backstory for the figure they spent 4 months product testing with. You may like this show, and honestly, I'm happy for you. I'm just far too jaded at this point to watch something like this without popping blood vessels in my eyes twice an episode. I hope that by making this video I can spread just a shred more awareness about this anime and its bland content. I'm actually going to take back what I said at the beginning of this video about being sure that everyone who is watching is familiar with Fire Force. Probably 7 out of 10 people who will click on this are confused bystanders who've seen 400 plus Fire Force ads in the last 6 days. As always, thank you guys for listening to my not so mini rant about anime. Be sure to like and subscribe if you liked the video and you do in fact want to subscribe. I'm trying to start uploading every day as well, so if you have any video ideas for me, please share them in the comments below, tweet them at me, or email me. All links in the description, and once again, thank you very, very much for watching.